Hi, everybody. God, I hope that my settings are correct and you can hear me. Welcome to Mike. Are you watching the Twitch stream? Because I'm not watching the Twitch stream. So if my settings aren't correct, they're going to tell you. Because normally Sarah does this for me, but Sarah's in the Twitch stream, but she's not in our Zoom. And I don't have Discord open. That was a lot of words to say thank you for watching our stream. Welcome to Phandalin by Night, a special series of D&D games run and hosted here on the Vancouver by Night channel. My name is Sarah. I am your dungeon master here on Sundays. Above here we have Mike, who I'll let introduce himself in just a minute. If you're watching for the first time, thank you for watching, and you are watching a very special episode because you see Mike up here bit the big one, and you're asking yourself, like, how is that possible? Because we are like only in episode 5. It's true, he died in episode 2, but then also didn't, because in order to die you have to go into the afterlife, right? And in Faerun, in the Forgotten Realms where we are, the Raven Queen escorts you into the afterlife. That is her domain as a goddess, as a deity. She didn't, though. She was quite irate, and kicked him back to the prime material plane, basically kicked him back to the world of the living. And I can't promise that I'm going to answer all of your questions. I know Mike has them too, but let's do some of them. So, Mike, do you want to introduce yourself, talk about other things that you've got going on, and we'll get into the game.
What other things? I don't know. This is the only thing. Hi, Mike. He, him, playing Thunder Soul. First name to be determined. Also he, him, who's just as confused, excuse me, to be here, but then he doesn't really know he died, so it's fine. He's just sort of here. He just woke up one day and now I'm an elf.
It's true.
All he knows.
It's true.
And he happens to be a now devotee for some reason, or at least selected by the Stormlord. So, cool.
Maybe. There is definitely some connection happening. So let's remind ourselves what happened the last time we saw you. So if you're new to our stream, again, welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you go back and watch last week's stream, this is not a one-on-one campaign overall. I've got 5 players. But last week, we played a game with the 4 of the other players who had to continue on in the wake of their friend's death. And this week, we are playing just a special one-on-one game. I have never played a one-on-one game before. I've never DM'd one. So I am excited about the possibility of this. But Mike and I have been playing together for a while, for I think a couple of months now, because Mike is my DM on Tuesday nights on this channel. You can watch Would Be Heroes, and I would encourage you to do so. So if you've been with us, then you already know all of this, but if you're new, you should know that next week, I really, really hope that all 5 players will be back together doing the same mission. That's our goal. But I mean, I don't know if he dies again.
Oh, wow.
This is going to be a long and interesting campaign.
We went there.
Look,
excellent.
The chance that you die is low, but it's never 0. Okay. So let's get into it. When last we met our friend Thunder Soul here, the newly conscious elven body, newly elven body of Thunder Soul felt the heat across the morning sun across his ears as he lay washed ashore on a riverbank. As he stood up, an older elven woman invited him to her home, telling him that Cord will help him to know who he is. This woman, Viessa Yensatra, was a seasoned adventurer herself, and not one to suffer fools. She knocked Thundersoul out with a sleeping draught and sought Cord's wisdom as he lay unconscious. As Thundersoul came to, he learned that he was to be trained as a cleric And Viesa set to quick work, slicing his arm open again and again, encouraged to learn to heal himself. And as he connected with the raging storm, they were in the middle of like a big thunderstorm. As he was connecting to the storm around them, the wound closed. She cut him again. He healed himself again. And on it went until he was out of spell slots. The third time, his magic seemed not to work. And she explained that he only has so many uses of this amount, this gravitas of healing in a day. And she bandaged him up kindly. He sat next to her. She lives in this beautiful treehouse overlooking the forest. They were sitting on the balcony of her treehouse, feeling the storm and watching the storm surge around them. Her bow was sitting in between their two chairs, and her bow started to react to him, shooting off sparks and connecting to the power that was circulating within him. They sat in the fading light, watching and listening to the storm around them, and that's where we're going to pick up. So we begin hours later. It is now dark. You've been sitting next to Viesa for some time. And as the storm passes, you can see the blinking pale lights of the stars through the clouds. When the last cloud passes out of sight, the velvet black is pierced by thousands of stars. And Viesa finally speaks. Do you know the story of the stars?
I'm sorry.
Do you know the story of the stars?
No. Should I?
She takes
I'm
a
sorry.
deep-
I was literally. It feels like I was born yesterday. I have no memories beyond waking up in a river, and then seeing you standing over me.
Then you should learn the ways of our people. Every star is a single great life, one who had done service and honor to their people, one who showed bravery, wisdom, or whose compassion was so great it changed the course of history. Each star has a name and a story. Not all people know all the names, because any created thing can become a star. So the stories come from different tongues and different customs. To know the story is a great thing. It helps you to know what you should do in the difficult times. This is why sailors use the stars to guide them at night.
Makes sense.
Make a perception check.
And we're off to the races of 5.
Of 5. Viesa sees you kind of trying to find context in your mind, trying to connect, trying to see if maybe as she's telling you this, if these are the stories of your people, if these are the teachings of your people, then surely somebody must have taught you them growing up, and you've got to be able to pull a memory out of there. And you get kind of lost in your own, in centering yourself in what she's trying to explain to you. And so instead, she points out some stars that are high in the north sky. And they are bright and clear and proudly shining, but with pitch black darkness between them. Almost as if at the edge of the stars, in the middle of where these stars are, it is the absence of light. The light just ends. She traces them with her finger. As she's not pointing them out individually, she's tracing a shape with her finger. She says, if you only look at the individual star, you miss the bigger story. These 7 They make a specific shape, the story of all of the individuals, but also of the age and the time that they shared. The constellation tells the story of the world by combining all of the individual stories. Do you see?
Uh, Patterns of stars form a backdrop or a story network of history for the people.
Yes. Very good. Make a perception check with
Like
advantage.
a spider web or a. I don't know, advantage.
Left click. Roll advantage.
That's better. 19.
You see the shape of these stars with the darkness in the middle. They form like a tiara or a circlet kind of a shape. She says, "Our people call this the crown of the north, although other elves call it the cold crown." It tells the story of an age of growing power amongst the peoples that walk the earth. Not all people read the constellation the same, because how you live, who you are, what you believe can influence the heroes and intentions that you find in each story. She watches you closely to see if you understand.
Uh, Perspective, I guess. Not all things are all things to all people. I I kind of feeling completely out of my element, so I'm gonna be like looking around desperately in the sky for some other constellation. I'll be like, okay, well, what's that one?
She
It
looks and
kind of looks
considers.
like I don't know. You could draw a line between them and might be a sword.
She looks at it.
Random. Connect the dots, but really poorly. I don't know.
She says, "I have not thought of the star stories in a long time, and I'm not well studied in them. I spent a good portion of my life traveling with a moon elf whose goddess was the overseer of stars, navigation, women, the afflicted. Both she and her goddess would give you so much more information than I could if she were here."
Can I ask something?
Sure.
I have. I hope someday I can learn, maybe even find my family or some kind of connection, so that I can get an understanding of what happened to me before I met you. But something strikes me as odd in the sense of I mean, maybe I had a connection with him before. I don't know. Did in your communion with Cord, did you learn anything about why? Why me? Why? What makes me special enough to wake up in the middle of a river with a champion of Cord to drag me out of it? What connection do I have with Cord to have made me a cleric of its will?
You think that you are a cleric of the Stormlord? No, I do not think that is true. I do not know, or even try to know, why the gods send us on the path that they send us on. But I have followed Cord for a long time. And I have traveled with others who follow other deities. You do not strike me as a follower of Cord.
And why was I chosen? Why? What mission has he given you to shepherd me through?
My mission, Cord seems to have taken an interest in preserving your life, although not requiring your service. She points back up at the circlet, at the cold crown. She says, you know, there are some that call that the circle of coins, because they believe that it was thrown by the gods to taunt poor men. And they wish on it and pin their hopes on it. Some believe that it is the eye of evil and the hole that leads to darkness. The brightest star in the north there, that's the brow star. It's also, in our tongue, called Alagertha, by the Bedine of the Anorok. Some Bedine tribes believe that place, that story, is Nazrir's tent. It is the dwelling place of the Lord of the Dead. According to our astronomers, there was once a star centered in the middle of this circle. The star was, and she pauses for a second, she is trying to recall deep history that she has not thought of in years. Nalandrosian. And in your head, you hear the translation. As you hear this proper elven word, even though she says it, you can see the picture of what the word means, which is darkness in light. You know what's interesting about Nalandrosian is that of all the stories that exist, of all the ages that have passed, this is the one about the end of the world. That star figures prominently in the prophecies of the end of our world. But it has not been seen in the night sky in millennia. And yet we are still here.
Maybe its reappearance might herald this end. Maybe by its absence, we are still graced, I guess, with existence.
So in your absence and your reappearance, what do you think that foretells?
But I have a very large gap in my memory. And, I don't know. I'd like to know where I disappeared from and how I ended here. More questions than answers, really. But no, I don't. I don't know. I I I have no answers. My insight is uh, kept at bay because of my lack of agency. Really, I don't have an understanding of who I am other than now a cleric tied somehow to the Tempest by by or through which Cord has an interest in my existence, but I know not why or how. I don't know what I've done to merit this attention, or what I can even do to maintain it. Uh, was I a great champion? Was I a simple merchant? Was I a famous musician, a wielder of the arcane? I don't have a I don't have a foot to step from, really. So I'm essentially living for the moment, a lightning flash in the sky, if you will. I look at the stars to see all of these individuals, these stories, and these events through history, called one thing by one group, called another thing by another group. Gives it a sense of purpose, a place. And I feel sometimes that recently I'm more connected to the void than I am to a particular star, because I have no that connection, that ounce of belonging. And I keep just coming back to the storm, and I don't know why.
She considers your words. She says, "In the storm, I find strength and comfort. With every crack of thunder, I hear my friends, and I have my purpose. I don't know why yours is set with mine for the time being, but we will do what we can to help you, Cord and I. I'll write to somebody I know who is wise. I do not know if or when we will hear, but I will write and see. Perhaps he will be able to give us more information. In the meantime, maybe study the stars. I'm going to bed. Some of us aren't as young as the others." And she just kind of sweeps her graying ponytail back over her shoulder, picking up her bow and keeping it on the opposite side of her body from you. She does not want it anywhere near you. She says, "Come on, Artie, let's go to bed." And you hear her through, like, there's like a window that's behind your guys, behind the chairs, and you hear like her hutch door open. You hear the creak of leather armor as she removes it. You hear the small clink of metal as her holy symbol gets placed down on a table. And soon you hear the very soft snores of a very old elf. So you look up at the stars. What do you see and what are you looking for?
The storm is gone. Are there clouds in the sky at all, or is it a completely cloudless night?
It is very cloudless. The storm has long since passed.
So I'm going to almost take that as a almost a meaning of that Cord's not paying attention right now, uh, or I'm in good hands and he doesn't need to necessarily be hanging about and making sure.
Make a religion check. Let's see what you think.
That's going to be so good. Here we go. A 13. Not as bad as I was expecting.
You know, as the storm has passed, and you heard the softness, like Viesa doesn't suffer fools. She's very straightforward. She is, she says what she needs to say. There was a softness in her voice as she spoke about her friends, but also as she spoke about Cord. Like he was as real to her as you were sitting there. And you do not feel that connection to whatever or whomever you think Cord is. And as you think about the intensity and the intimacy of a relationship with somebody like that, you do feel like that absence of light in the middle of the cold crown. There is nobody who you have relationship like that with.
Now.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry.
Jeez. Huh.
Also,
Well,
I should say, that doesn't necessarily feel uncomfortable. Like, to us as players, that's like, oh, that's tragic. That's the beginning of like a villain origin story. Batman begins that way, right? That's not necessarily in the core of you. When you are sitting in the silence of the night, the soft snores of the elf, the cicadas and crickets around you, the slow glimmering bodies of fireflies as they rise up out of the tree canopy. It is this peaceful and serene setting. And you think you should be lonely. But there's also a piece of you that it's not even that it's okay to not have to depend on others. You just don't need to. Others, it's not that others are a liability. It's not like those tropey feelings. You don't need anyone else. You are.
I'm going to reflect on that. I'm sort of going to be sort of kneeling in the nice sort of the soft, cool grass, wet from the rain of the day. Sort of almost communing in a way with nature, listening to the cicadas, listening to the crickets, the chirping of the bullfrogs by the river, feeling their presence, but at the same time feeling their insignificance, their smallness, their insects, of note, you like to know what's around you. You have an idea for things. They're not on my level in a way. And as I sort of dwell on this, as I sort of almost draw in the essence of the night, I want to basically have a cantrip or two, maybe lightning lure or something. Basically, just sort of uh, charge and sort of just little sparks of electricity arcing off my body, gently sort of feeding into. I'm very grounded right now, so I'm just sort of feeding it into the earth around me, and it's sort of just leaping off of the grass, sort of washing across small bits of the area around me like a carpet of taser carpet or something.
As you feel this connection with, although you know very little about yourself, you know that you have a connection to the arcane. And as you feel like this is something that you should just do and should just unfurl from you, there is a block. And you can't. In the darkness of the night, as you are trying to then force it, then you're paying attention. You can't. And you don't know why.
Dang. Oh, well, that's frustrating. Did it yesterday.
You did it in the daytime, absolutely. The sun has gone down, and it strikes you that even in your connection to the Artemis bow that Viessa wields, as the sun went down, those sparks of electricity, even if she moved it, you could still kind of feel that, you know, that heat, that friction in the air. As the sun went down, you didn't. And you didn't notice it at the time. It was so subtle. And now that you're thinking about it, you realize that when the sun went down, you stopped having those connections. That connection to the arcane.
That's bad.
You're like a reverse vampire. You're vampire adjacent. There you go, Steve.
Oh, oh, this is not good. I honestly don't know what to do with this.
The night goes on. You can stay. You could. You're feeling, I would imagine, very worn out by all of this.
Well, Rome
But
wasn't
you've
built
got
in a day,
questions, so I'm not going to tell you what to do. You tell me what you're doing.
Well, my first thought is that I didn't lose the connection from the Artemis bow because the night became, the day went down, it became night. It's because she took the bow away.
Sure.
I'm going to
Makes sense.
see if maybe I can, I mean, it's a working theory. I can't access the power now, but it might be because of the proximity to the bow.
Maybe the bow's your patron. I get it. Yep, totally.
The bow's my, there it is. I'm a
There
warlock
it
with
is.
a bow. So yeah, I'm going to go to her door.
Okay. It is a small, like, one-room hatch. Like Hutch, as you go into the door, she's still kind of snoring on her bed.
Oh, no, I'm going in.
Oh,
I mean,
it's not like she has a bedroom door. There is a treehouse. Like, it is a one-room treehouse.
there. Not lightly. Matron.
You hear, like, the squeaky sound of, like, a bed as she rolls over and pulls the blanket up and over her head.
So a window.
Yep.
And I see where the bow is.
Yeah, as you look in, give me a perception check. Let's see if you can see where the bow is.
No, I cannot.
Oh,
With an 8.
um,
I want to take D&D Beyond, by the way, and put it into dice jail.
yeah, sure. Absolutely. What you see is that she has like walled off her area with some like dividing screens so that like her bed is, you can't see the area where her bed and her stuff is. You do see like she's thrown some furs on the floor and made like a place for you to sleep. There is a little fire that is like very, very lightly. Like there's one piece of wood, and it's only so that she can probably do some cooking later. It's or like cooking in the morning. It's a warm-ish night. You don't necessarily need the heat. There's a small table and 3 chairs, which is weird because she lives alone. But there's 3 chairs. But it looks like she's made some space for you to come and stay inside if you'd like to. And if you want to get closer to where she sleeps and where the bow is, you're welcome to try.
There's a challenge if I've ever had one.
Just saying, it's right. It's got to be there. She didn't leave it outside.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'd be curious.
Sure.
I just don't want her to kick me out because
Yeah.
I'm snooping around her room with
Sure.
some little
Yep.
sort of weirdo.
Sure.
Uh yeah, just sort of a quick peek of sorts. Take in the room, take in the
She's
placement
sleeping
of
soundly. Like as you move in, you would assume that a seasoned adventurer who had spent time out and about would be a light sleeper, and if somebody was moving around they'd be like up and checking things out. No, she's out. She is out cold. You could, like, as you kind of like peek your head around the divider, um she is she doesn't even like you make some creaks on the floor. She doesn't hear them. uh she seems to be fairly asleep here.
so I'm not a threat because otherwise she'd be a little more wary, I guess, which is that in of itself kind of strikes me as odd because I literally met her yesterday,
Yep.
according to her,
Yep.
and according to my memories. So the first thing I saw was her, but she
Yep.
hasn't read on that she knew me. So I don't think there's any reason for her to trust me, or
Sure.
is there? I don't know. Where's the bow?
As you look around, you see that her bow is above her bed, like hanging on a special shelf, so that she could grab it in the middle of the night and be prepared. It's there is a single arrow that is like on the bed frame. I'm like actually pointing at my bed, on the bed frame, on like the headboard, where it's just laying there so that if she needed to, she could get up and fight.
Hmm. How close am I to the bow?
I don't know. How close are you? How close are you to like these dividing screens set about like 2.5 feet away from her bed? So are you like at the dividing screen, like peeking your head around? Or are you just kind of standing back, like at the corner of the room, trying to get a peek in?
Um, Mainly far enough away that if I made a noise or something, I could apologize for it, sort of thing. I don't
Sure.
actually want to disturb her or to take any advantage of her hospitality.
Yeah.
Matron?
She sleeps.
So I'll move up to close to where the bow is, behind the screen,
As you get a little bit closer
and reach out and sort of see if I have a connection with it.
to the bow,
Yeah.
As you reach your hand and you get kind of over the top of her bed
Shit.
towards the bow, there is a like an annoying gnat that is flying around, and you hear like this little buzzing.
Shit. Um, like a tinnitus sort of thing, or is it actually a gnat?
How close are you going to listen to it? How much attention are you going to pay this buzzing?
I mean, everything at this point is a sign pointing to something, so let's pay attention to the buzzing for a second. I have a short attention span anyway.
Yeah. As you're standing there with your arm outstretched over kind of the edge of her bed, and you kind of drop your eyes for a second to focus, as you drop your eyes, under your hand is her bed. Under her bed, sticking out of the edge of her bed, is a chest.
Cutting into a life of crime. Um,
The buzzing, to answer your original question, because you're paying attention to the buzzing,
coming from the chest.
you're paying attention to the buzzing, right? As you drop your eyes, you see the chest. As you're paying attention to the buzzing, what occurs to you is that this isn't the buzzing of a gnat. This isn't like a night little fly that's flying around your head. This is the deep, greedy breathing of what must be a huge beast. It's small and quiet and far away, but also right in your ear. And the closer you pay attention to it, the more you hear this distinct, like, I wish I had such a good mic that could pick that up, but like this deep, just breathy, slight growl, purr, deep breath of something that must be huge for its chest cavity to be able to resonate so deeply.
I'm gonna die. Uh, um, and it's coming from the all around me.
It is, you can hear it in your ear. It doesn't seem to be ambient. It is not coming from a place, but you are hearing it.
Ugh. Uh, try to reach out, see if I can connect with the bow again.
As you move your hand, kind of, it's slowly started to stray down, and as you more purposefully bring it back up towards the bow, there, yeah, the bow, the bow would be nice too. There is an equal amount of pleasure, like purr in this deep throaty growl breath that you get from both the bow and the chest.
Okay. uh, I oh man, okay. This is how close is the chest?
The chest is on the ground, like halfway sticking out from under her bed.
close it is.
Closer than the bow, for sure.
I reach out towards the chest. Is the buzz the same?
The closer you get, the more like serotonin kicks into that growl, the more like good that feels.
Okay, this is fucked. Shit. uh, I have an evil person living inside me. Uh, uh, okay, this is bothersome. Um, look around a flower pot or a water jug, some sort of mundane, not as the silverware. I don't know, something less valuable, something less um, secreted. That makes
Yeah,
any sense?
absolutely. Out of instinct, because this is startling to you how this thing that your moral compass is like, what is happening? No, you take a few steps back. And as you do, the breathing quiets a bit. And as you turn looking for anything else, you see like her table, and there are some little potter. They look like they're made by small, tiny hands, and they look old. A mug and a bowl, a little set of dishes. Um, you kind of reach towards them. No, the silverware maybe a little bit, but not like the chest, not like the bow. And you kind of reach, there's a book, there's a scroll, there's a quill, there's ink. You go and you grab the sleeping draft that you saw her mix into your tea. No, nothing like the chest and the bow.
Oh, okay. Uh, wow. Go back towards the bed again.
Not in a scary way. Not in a scary way. There's serotonin. There is, yeah, in that.
Think about think about her dying.
Viessa dying?
Yeah.
Inconsequential. You feel apathetic. No.
I'm not some kind of savage monster.
No. Certainly you're not like, if you're, as you think about like grabbing the arrow and like stabbing it into her heart, you're like, oh, that would be gross. That would cause a lot of blood. I'm not super into that.
Oh,
Like,
oh,
but you're also not like, surprisingly, you're not like, no, good people don't just murder people. You're just like, no, that would create a lot of mess.
so
The
I'm immoral. That's good.
inconvenience, yeah, the inconvenience of it is more of what stops you than the
Oh,
morality of the
that's
act. It's your character.
okay.
It's not me. You did
No, no.
this.
Yes, I did. Okay. I'm going to feel that Ursula has enough morality, basic
Sure.
something,
Yeah.
or at least warring with his own brain, that he's going to matron.
Nope.
Yeah, please.
You'd have to
Uh,
shake her to get her up.
Okay.
She is out. She she's either not threatened by you, or like she understands that there is things at work beyond her that she just cannot choose to concern herself with. You don't totally understand why she is, but if you'd like to wake her up, you're going to have to shake her to do so.
Briefly consider the sleeping draught. No. Tapper.
She kind of
Matron.
throws your hand off her shoulder, pulling the blanket up over her more. She's very stubborn. She doesn't like to be woken up. I'm playing true to character.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Matron.
One eye blinks open.
Am I
What?
close enough to the bow that I can touch it?
You're kind of like leaning over her, tapping her, and you just want to put your other arm up to grab the bow?
I'm just wondering if I am close enough to touch it.
Yeah, if you outstretched your hand, you could touch it.
Okay. There's a problem.
You have her immediate attention.
I don't know who I am, but I sought to see if my connection to the storm was lost with the absence of the sun. I came in, and instead of feeling a connection to the bow, which I can now see in front of me, I haven't touched it, I hear a need. I look at the chest under your bed, and I hear a hunger. I don't know why. And I feel that I might be a danger to you. I'm not compelled to do anything rash or and I'm not so morally blind as to just steal it from you outright. I don't want any of your things. I don't think. I don't know. What's in the chest? All right. I don't know what is happening to me, Matron. And I don't know why the Storm Lord has taken a shining to me. But I look at your bow, not as someone who could use it. I mean, instinctually, maybe I have an understanding of it, but I don't know if I would be any good at it compared to someone like yourself or a warrior of any kind. But I look at it covetously. I look at it as though I deserve to have it. And I don't know why. I feel that I'm much less of a good person before my... Who was I? And why? Why does the thought of possessing that item send a curdling thrill through my veins.
Two things. First, you see the glint of metal
Oh
as
shit.
she has moved a dagger around to your side. Um, she's not threatening you. Her face hasn't changed, but she is just taking stock of the situation. She is armed. The second thing she says, or the first thing she says though, is, "You would not be the first to come after Artie. Many have. He is of the ancient magic, and he remains mine. You couldn't take him even if you wanted to. Of course, you're saying that you don't, but I do not know why you feel such a connection. Many are called to the vestiges, but for now, I think it's better that you figure out who you are. And I cannot help you with that. I can tell you that the Stormlord is interested in preserving your life, but not for your service and not for the acts that you do or the person that you are.
Could you take Artie down, please? And hold it.
Holding the dagger still, she reaches up and grabs it.
And now I'm basically sort of just bare the chest there, basically.
Yeah, she's not
angle the
threatening.
dagger,
Yeah.
Hit me with it if you need to. May I touch it? Or at least bring my hand close enough to see once again if I can see that if there's a connection.
There is a hesitancy. Roll an insight check.
Insight. Oh no, that's not bad. 16.
There is a hesitancy, but not because she is concerned that in any way you're going to take it from her. There is a hesitancy because this is probably the most precious thing that she owns. And she and Artemis, she and Artie have traveled together for almost 200 years at this point, at the point in which you meet her. This is the oldest love of her life.
Also cool.
But she overcomes her hesitancy and she leans it forward so that the curve of the bow can be touched by you.
Go with the back of my knuckles first. I want to see. Is there like that any more of like that spark between?
The spark, no. But as you start to move your hand forward, that feeling comes back. And as you turn your hand to just touch with the back, there's a disappointment.
All right. Listening to the voice in my head.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Turn my hand around as if to grasp it.
Yeah, wisdom saving throw.
Oh, shit. What? Wisdom saving throw? Oh, this isn't going to go well. Oh, yeah. 20.
This is yours. Everything is yours. And you will have it. But as your fingers clench around it, like white knuckle, there is a moment in which this is yours and you will take it. And you just feel a slight pull as she starts to pull it back. And in that moment, you fight that instinct And this is still
What?
yours,
You can have it for
but
a while. I'll be back for it.
something like that.
You can have it for now. It's fine, but it's mine.
It is. All pretty and precious things are yours.
What? Okay. Uh,
She pulls it back. She goes, "That was interesting. What did you learn about yourself?"
that I can't trust my own feelings. I reached out. I touched the bow. There was no spark, as before. And the deepest core of my being felt disappointment until I grasped it, at which point it became mine, at least in my head. I don't want it. I sincerely do not want, to the best of my knowledge, your treasured possession. And yet at the same time, that darkness between the points of the crown calls to me and says, take it, because it belongs to you. Take the things in the chest as they belong to you. I don't even know what's in the chest. I feel like I'm a danger to you.
She pulls back her dagger as you say that. "You are no danger to me, but you must learn to control yourself. Many, many who walk the path must learn to step away from such desires. If you want to become one of the stars, you must search for what is good for all. That is why they make it up there."
Where do I start this search?
"Not with my bow." She hangs it up above her bed. "And I'd like to go to sleep. I'm old. Can we talk about this in the morning?"
So very sorry. Back my way up.
You hear a creak as she like leans over, lifting the lid of the chest. And then you hear the creak of her bed and the shuffling of her blankets as she goes back to sleep.
I'm gonna go peek.
Yeah, of course you are. You wait a few minutes because you wait until you hear the snoring again. Absolutely, you do. The chest, she has not only like opened it, she's pulled it out so that you can take a look.
What? Why? Why
Because
would you do
you have to get over
this?
your temptation, friend. The chest has coins,
Ah,
gems, potion bottles, and kind of laying across there's kind of some coins covering it, but a pure silver dagger with a rune on the hilt.
that's pretty.
It is. Equally pretty are the coins, the gems, and even the potion bottles.
Hmm. I should have been a rogue in my former life, but I was.
Maybe you still are.
Well, not a very perceptive one. So, uh, That dagger looks really pretty though.
Mm-hmm.
The buzz there.
Oh, yeah. The second your head peeks around and sees all of the pretties, it's not a bad buzz. It's not like annoying. It is flooding your brain with dopamine and serotonin. It is a euphoric buzz, a euphoric growl.
I have to fight this.
I mean, if you want to, I'm not saying you have to fight it. You're saying you have to fight it.
Great. I'm trying to be immoral and bring up.
Sure. You're a cleric. That's what clerics do.
Ah.
I get it.
Reach my hand towards the dagger.
Yep.
See if there's a similar spark. That arcing shock connection.
As you move yourself a little bit closer to get your hand, you notice that there is this rune that's in the hilt of like the butt of the dagger, but along the dagger are a series of other runes. What languages do you speak?
Oh man, what languages don't I speak at this point?
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
that's true. You
Sylvan, Elven, Draconic, Primordial, Common. Draconic, Elvish, Primordial, Sylvan, Common. Yep.
um make an Arcana check
That's gonna go well.
at disadvantage because you're not feeling a connection to the arcane right now.
That'll be a 7.
Um, the runes must imbue this with something. There is one rune that specifically you feel a connection to. It is a lightning rune, um, but there are several other runes on this. You also notice that this dagger seems to be pure silver, and there is something kind of hand etched into the blade. It's not like a rune where it's carved nicely and enchanted. There's something etched into the blade.
You're just trying to get me to look closer at the dagger.
I
Damn it.
swear, all of them, as your hand travels over the chest, all of the things grant you those equal amounts of pleasure. The potion bottle, the gems, the coin, the dagger.
It's the little writing on the dagger that I want to look at.
Pick it up.
Right.
Get closer.
Very gingerly
Yeah.
pick up the dagger and look at the runes.
Yeah, the same, like, this is mine, that when you touch the bow, that same feeling floats into your being. Um, are you looking at the runes or the etching?
The etching.
It's a little heart, and it just says R plus W.
Damn it. See if I can get any kind of a spark out of that lightning rune.
As you kind of run your thumb lovingly along the rune, the dagger is real nice. All of the runes. There is still a block on the arcane, but man, this dagger's real pretty.
I need to put it back. I can't. No. I
Yeah. You lay it back gingerly. You will yourself to let go of that. And you lay it back down gingerly. Does your hand stray across anything else in the chest?
Well, if I skiff too deeply, it's going to make a noise anyways.
Yeah.
Pick up one of the gems.
It's this beautiful, like, deep, deep green. Small, not very big, small, deep, deep, dark green. It's very nice.
I'm not having any difficulty putting these back.
Oh, you are you, I mean, they
Like
are
to the point where I'm making a
yours.
wisdom saving throw.
You are surveying it, but now you're starting to understand as you're kind of looking through things right now, you're not you're not trying to, how do I want to say this? You're leaving with something. You're just looking through the treasure to see what you're leaving with. That is the only way you can convince your hand to let it go is I'm going to put down this green gem because I would like to pick up.
Oh no. Uh, kind of examine the potions, do little sort of try to pick stuff up and then try to immediately put it down. And I guess sort of just feed right into like an ADD. Basically,
Yeah.
just sort of pick it up, put it down, find another thing
Yeah.
as quickly as I can, pick it up, put it down.
Not a problem. As you're looking at stuff, there's these beautiful red potions. There are these glowing kind of turquoisey blue potions. There's a purple vapory potion, a golden like ethereal sparkle potion in like a small vial. Picking up, putting things down doesn't matter. When you try to put down the last thing, when in your mind you're like, okay, enough, I'm done, that's when we're going to have a problem.
Okay. I can do this. Pick up the dagger,
Mm-hmm.
place it down,
Mm-hmm.
think to myself, I'll be back for this. See if I can let it go.
Wisdom saving throw.
Trying to convince myself
Sure.
or
Sure.
deceive myself
Sure.
into believing that I'm actually trying to be oh no. It was hovering on a 19 and it went blurp 1.
You very quietly close the lid on the chest, and as you do, your hands stray to the handles on the side of the chest. You kind of drag it along the wooden floor. It's heavier than you thought that it was.
Oh, shit. He can't possibly be asleep. Help, I can't stop myself.
Are you going to call out to her?
Uh, I'm holding onto the last shreds of morality I have. Yes. Damn it. Matron.
Yeah, within like
Can't
almost
stop.
like she wasn't actually asleep.
Really.
The dagger kind of tucks to the side of your neck, and she says, if you can't will yourself to let it go, then will yourself not to die. Step away, and your hands release. Your preservation of life seems to be stronger than
That's something.
your need to collect.
I need to stab myself on the hand. Excellent.
Keep a thumbtack in your shoe under your toe. Yeah.
Okay. This is bad. I don't like this. It's not. It's kind of like you wake up, you have a blank slate, and suddenly you realize that you're not a very nice person, but you didn't know you weren't. I apologize profusely for disrupting your life in the truth. But I don't think I can be here any longer.
I don't think that there's anywhere else that you should go. I have
But if
been
the
with
only thing
many.
stopping me from stealing from you is the threat of you killing me, it's not exactly a relationship that's built on trust.
But if you go somewhere else and you don't have the fear of them killing you, what will you do to them? Should you wander down to the Alderleaf farm and it's the single mum and her child asleep in their beds and you want their things, what's to stop you from doing it to them? No, you will stay with me and you will learn. You can learn. Everyone can learn. Everyone can learn. Everyone can get better. I certainly did.
But I thought I did know. That's the problem. I didn't have this feeling until I provided myself the opportunity to possess your things. A very lovely dagger in there, by the way.
She
What were the initials?
she gives you like 1,000-yard stare for a second. She says, "That is evidence of two stars that should have their stories told."
A personal story, then, of yours.
A personal story that I am fortunate enough to have witnessed and give witness to.
Does it make me feel any less possessive of the dagger knowing it's someone else's treasured thing?
No, you don't care about the story. Story doesn't matter to you.
Fair.
That silver's real pretty though. And it's enchanted. Oh. Yeah, that's real nice.
Not for that. I honestly don't know what to do at this point.
She suggests that nothing good ever happens after first watch, and we should go to bed.
Okay. In the absence of anything else, I don't feel a connection to the Storm Lord, despite his interest. I don't feel any other connection other than to coveting shiny things. So far, it's been a terrible day. But thank you for pulling me from the river.
She sits up and goes over to her desk and scribbles something out in the language of your people, in the high language of your people. And she rolls it up, and over the little fire, she heats up a little bit of wax, seals the scroll, pressing her signet into it, and hands it to you. She says, "If what you're after is things of value, in some places a name carries a great deal of power. So have a name, and let's see how you do with that tonight." And she hands you a scroll.
That she just sealed with wax.
Yeah.
Am I to open it?
You can if you'd like.
It's a shame, though. She just used the wax in the seal.
Yeah. There is something nice about having something of your own. And she took such care in creating it. It's not gem or coin or dagger or bow nice, but it'll do. It's a start.
Open it.
You pop the seal. Careful to like keep the little wax piece for yourself. And you open it, and the word is Sangane. Which I'll throw into chat because it's got an umlaut, which makes it double awesome. I'll throw it into our Zoom chat.
Umlauts. Hashtag
Sangane.
Elven.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
It means gatherer.
I have a feeling she knows more about me than I do. This is terrible. All right. Um, I have no other. I don't really have anything else I can do. So I guess turn to her. Thank you. And I guess wordlessly kind of move to the cot that she has set up and try in vain to sleep.
She watches you for a few minutes just as you kind of get settled in. And what she sees, you fall asleep fitfully, like not easily, but you do fall asleep. And what she sees is you like curled up to the scroll that she gave you. And she says, like in her mind, she's like, yeah, all right. We all need something. I have my home, I have my things, I have my memories. He has nothing. We need to get him settled and get him purpose, and he will be on the right path. This isn't something to worry about, or Cord wouldn't have let him in. And she goes back to bed. You close your eyes for like a split second before she's like, get up. The sun has been up for 3 minutes and you are late. We have chores to do. Up.
What? Okay.
There's a bowl of porridge on the table in the little pot that was made by little teeny hands. There's like a little bowl of porridge there for you. And she's already up. She's got her leather armor on, and she's heading out the door to go do the things that she needs to do.
I guess kind of scoop, shovel, a couple of mouthfuls of the porridge, pulling on a shirt as I'm kind of hopping out, pulling on a boot as I'm hopping out the door. Where are we going?
Things need weeding. We need to find out more about your power. You said there was something about the nighttime, but it's day now, so let's see what we can do. And I need to go fetch water. I need to check the traps. Life goes on, friend.
So does mine. Very well. Lead on.
You guys go out and you spend the better part of like the early few hours doing everything that she said, pulling weeds. You now see that she has like a really good like victory vegetable patch on the side of her treehouse. She has berries, and you're hauling things of water for her, pulling weeds, checking small game traps that are around, feeding, creating little like refilling little feeders of different kinds for different animals that probably come around. And by about mid-morning, she's like, Sangane, come over here. She she slices you with her dagger again.
Jesus.
She's like, all
Ah!
right, let's see. Thank you for your help this morning. I do appreciate that. Now I've got time to actually do some training. Go ahead, do your thing.
So remembering what I did the other day, or the day before, I guess focusing electrical current, some kind of. I don't even know what the Stormlord looks like. So feeling, channeling the like the essence of uh, feeling a thunder crack of thunder in my chest, sort of thing. Just sort of seeing if I can sort of summon an aspect of the storm.
Okay.
See if I can
Roll a religion check since you're thinking of the Stormlord.
focus. Okay. Who knows to me? 9. We
You
unhit.
know, you are trying your hardest, but that arcane block is still there. And that buzzing, growly, deep, resonant, slightly angry voice, a breath, sound is there.
It's not working. Maybe if I had that dagger?
She pulls the small dagger from her hip. It's not the silver dagger from the chest. And she puts it in your hand. And then immediately takes like 3 steps back so that you're not within swinging distance of her.
Oh, good. Do I still have that same? Does the voice quell?
Um, no, I
Buzz?
mean, it is a little bit less
Hmm.
displeased, more just towards annoyance, maybe. But
This isn't what I wanted.
but also the magic is not there. The
Hmm.
As you're paying attention to this, the the greediness, the deep need to gather, and the magic don't necessarily correlate to each other.
Yeah. Either way, I have a cut on my hand. It's not healing.
Yeah. And you are bleeding. And finally, she's getting impatient. You can see in her face. And she steps forward and wraps your arm and goes, well, maybe. I mean, I am not a cleric. Perhaps the healing thing takes days to recover when you're new at it. I'm not sure. We will write to a cleric and find out. Can you do anything else? Can you, I don't know, what? And she's like trying to think through her mind of what she's seen clerics do. I haven't traveled with a cleric in many, many days. Is there something else you can do?
I literally woke up yesterday, the day before. I'm the only thing I can think that I have any connection with is the lightning storm.
The lightning, interesting, but not the thunder, not the rain, not the clouds, not the wind, just the lightning.
I don't know why I said that. I should have said storm. Um,
Is it the storm or is it the lightning? There's two different things.
you're asking me like I know. Uh, I sort of resonate on it a minute. And sort of, am I drawn to the storm? Am I drawn to the clap of thunder? Am I drawn to uh, uh, palpable ozone smell sort of thing? Am I drawn to lightning?
Lightning.
It's lightning.
Lightning is the thing that those other things in your 2-day-old experience, lightning comes when those other things happen, but it is the lightning itself that has your attention.
Powers in the lightning. So, see if I can summon lightning. Somehow.
She looks at you just as confused. She says, "It's the Storm Lord." She kind of holds up her symbol. The Storm Lord, like the whole thing, not just the one piece. Look, I have something that I would like to go do. Why don't you take some time and try to connect to your deity? Because you keep thinking it's the Storm Lord, and I keep trying to tell you it's not Cord. He's not interested in that way. And I don't know why. Because, you can pull weeds very good, but he's not the Weed Lord. So he's the Storm Lord. I don't know what you need to do, but you need to figure something out, because a cleric who cannot find favor of their deity is, well, useless. You hold on to the dagger. I'll be back in a bit. And she turns and heads north along the river. And you're left alone
Damn it.
at the homestead.
The first thing my brain went to was like, but which dagger are you talking about?
She handed you like a dagger from her side. Oh,
Yeah.
But you're like, she said
Oh, I
dagger.
can have the dagger.
She was not specific. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Damn it.
Fair play.
Killing myself here. All right. Right. I'm a paladin of cord hunting. Oh well. Faint heart and all that. Go back into the hut.
Okay.
Take out the dagger. If
Okay.
it's there.
Okay, it is.
Focus really intently on it. Focus on the lightning rune.
Mhm.
See if I can manifest some kind of a shocking grasp, some sort of lightning lure, the cantrip.
Are you focusing on trying to manifest something out of the lightning rune, or you're trying to connect to the lightning rune?
I'm
Those are two
connect with
different
it.
things.
I assume she has her bow.
She does have her bow, yes. The second that you get close to the chest, that breath is back. But this time, as you clench your fingers around the dagger and hold it close, and you're just like almost trying to attune to it. Now there's a voice. You withheld from me, so I will withhold from you. You want my magic? My favor? You must do for me first. Before sundown, every day, you will perform the dusk tithe. I expect an offering. You pray to me, for I am the one who is feared. I am the one that gives you all that your measly body needs for the paltry arcane you can manage to cast from your weak, mewling bag of bones and flesh. When you have prayed, you leave an offering. Bury it so that my riches grow, and I will grant you a boon for the next day. Miss a day, and you owe 10 times as much. Miss 2 days, and I will come tear the fingers off your body and feed them to my true followers. Now provide me my offering.
What the hell?
Yeah, man.
I'm just staring at the dagger. I'm like, okay. Are you talking to me?
The dagger doesn't respond.
What ritual do you want me to perform?
In your head, you get a flash of followers. They don't necessarily seem to have similar colors or a tabard. There's not like a religious costume or uniform. But you see them not together, all separately, but you see lots of them. Does that make sense? At dusk, praying and burying. Some of them bury huge chests full of things. Some of them bury a small gem. Some of them bury great weapons or many different things. But the commonality is that at dusk, they pray and they bury something.
Who are the praying to?
You don't know.
Is there a name? Is there a commonality to the ritual, to the prayer itself?
It's all different languages. It's not like, so they're not praying in celestial. They're all different languages. There is a word that you do hear over and over. Remind me what languages you speak.
Common, Draconic, Primordial, Elvish, Sylvan.
I wasn't planning on telling you this. Dang, your good questions. Yeah, the word that you hear over and over is Tiamat.
Jesus, hell. What? Do I know this name?
Nope. You recognize
Okay.
that it's Draconic, but there is no. You're not. Elvish is your fluent language. You recognize other languages, and you're not sure how to square that peg, but you understand the word as Tiamat. You don't, because you're not fluent in this language, you're not able to like deconstruct and find the etymology of this word.
Hmm. 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 Cool. So the dagger's talking to me.
It's not the dagger. Like, it's clear to you that it is
I'm
not the dagger.
convincing myself. Okay.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I
Live in denial. Go for it, buddy.
really want it to be the dagger.
Of course, sure, it is. It's the dagger that's got a cute little heart hand etched into it that is cursed and talking to you. Absolutely.
Please let it be the dagger. Okay, so I'm gonna see if this is open to conversations. I'm still trying to half-heartedly focus on the dagger, and I'm like, okay, well, focus through it, see if I can. Why am I being trapped? Yesterday I had a connection to the lightning, and now I don't. What have I done to deserve this punishment?
Are you asking? Are you asking the dagger, or are you just trying to ask to get the answer?
I'm kind of looking at the dagger and trying to half focusing on it and half focusing on the growling buzz in the back of my brain.
If you want my favor, if you want the boon of my power, You must give to me first.
What do I do?
Add to my riches.
Are you Tiamat?
As you speak the word in Draconic, I saw that little flash of like, I actually don't want to know the answer to this in your face just now. As you
Like,
speak the word in Draconic, this wave of emotion washes over your body that is fear and respect and purpose.
Okay. Well, then I have nothing to offer you.
The greedy breath, which is separate than this voice that you hear.
Mine. Can't have that.
That's right. And
I
that
don't have
greedy
anything.
breath, you notice that like you've been talking to this dagger with one hand, the other dagger or the other hand is like Scrooge McDucking through the coins. Yeah. Not like taking them, just like you know, like kinetic sand when you're just like mindlessly trying to play, you're just digging through the coins and gems.
I am ASMRing the
That's
coin.
right. That's right.
It's my Zen place, just playing with my
Yeah,
hand and coin.
absolutely.
I catch myself doing it.
Yep.
Put my hand flat on the pile. This isn't mine. What? How do I offer you something if I have nothing to offer?
In your head, the answer is like this isn't even the voice speaking to you. This is just you know. You know. You know.
You won't miss a handful. Small handful of coins, maybe 5.
Okay. Make an intelligence check for me.
3.
Or a wisdom check actually. I'm sorry, buddy, wisdom.
Check.
Yeah, just check. Not saving throw, just check. Hey. Mario.
Nope, nope. Wrong right thing.
Stream cuts while Mike is rolling. This is Luigi,
8.
and that one up there, that's Mario. Oh, he's talking to me.
18.
18. If you have to do this every day at sundown, and you don't know how long you're going to be with Fiesta,
I'm gonna run out of coins.
maybe you don't need to take all of them all at once. Maybe you need to like do one thing at a time and like string this out. Maybe she won't notice. And so you like dig to the bottom of this pile and you find like a little teeny diamond. And you pull it out.
I was thinking like gold teeth, but okay. Let's go big.
You find like a little tiny gem. There's a bunch of different things. There's like there's coins of all types. There's gems of all types. There's potions. There's the dagger seems to be the only like weapon kind of thing. But you don't need to take necessarily a lot, especially if you're going to have to do this every day. There is a part of you that understands that this is not good. People will not consider this good, and you are going to have to add an element of sneakiness it in order to do what you need to do to have your magic.
Oh,
This purpose
well,
that you feel, there is it is not the purpose of an individual. It is the purpose of somebody who belongs to a collective belief.
I'm a cultist now. This is great.
To be fair, you always were, you just didn't really know. Okay.
That's totally fair.
Yeah.
Um, cool. Cool. Okay. Uh, how do I do this and still keep my morality? By burying the silverware, I guess. I don't know.
Sure. Whatever.
Um,
Whatever you need to do.
well, I'm gonna logic it, and I'm gonna be like, the diamond might be too
Sure.
much.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can sort of just skim the bottom for coins.
Yeah. You find like several
Not
most of what's in there is like there are some pieces of platinum, most of what's in there is gold. You do find a couple of silver and a couple of copper.
Now
Like
I'm
at the
having an
bottom.
existential crisis. I'm like, how do I shortchange Tiamat and still get my powers?
That's a great question that
Okay.
tiamatfollowers.com probably has an answer to. You should go search out some forums for that.
So
Yeah.
I have a question.
You guys, I'm kind of a new follower. Like, I'm trying to, like, my parents just wouldn't understand.
Okay. Uh, how do I? Okay. Well, I mean, I guess since it's the middle of the day, I'll pocket a couple of silver,
Okay.
and I guess continue to do some of the chores that she set out for me.
Yeah. So you're going, and she's got you kind of picking. There's some early, like, tubers that are ready to be pulled as you go downstairs. As you're like down back at the ground level, working in the patch again, and as your trowel digs into the soft earth and you're pulling out the tuber, there's just a nice little hole there that something could fit if you wanted to.
It's not sundown.
Nope. But you just, you, the trowel makes a really nice sound, like ASMR, as it digs into the earth. You definitely don't have to. Just, you are going to remember that this is a that this is a natural movement that does not cause any suspicion, and it creates a little hole that something, you are unburying something, but that something could be buried in.
Jeez.
And it just clicks in your mind that, oh, this might be useful for later.
This is where my life of crime begins. Okay. While I'm focusing on that, but I should be digging tubers.
And so you do. You dig tubers and dig tubers and dig tubers, and you're pulling weeds, and you find some little radishes that are ready. You go and collect some extra wild berries. You sit in awe as this doe and fawn kind of wander, marking their way through the garden, and drink by the river for a few minutes, and then head off. And soon, Viessa comes back, and she's got a look on her face, a set look on her face. Do you still have the dagger I gave you?
Yes.
Excellent. I wish I had more for you to wear. I really hope you figured out your situation with your deity. There's something happening, and I would prefer not to go alone if you would like to come with me.
Lead on.
She leads you north along the river, and around you see the river go this way, and she kind of leads you up and around on top of like this. It looks kind of like it's bigger than a mound, but it's not. It's smaller than a hill. It is a rise in the earth for sure. And she leads you up, and you see small, what look like, as she points them out to you, little vents where there is smoke rising. And there's one place where she lifts up a patch of like grass and earth, and you look down and you see with your keen elf eyes a darkness and then like an opening. You can see that there is something down there. And she says, "Do you hear the wargs?" And as she says it, you do hear the distinct howling of dog wolves, beasts. You don't know how you know that that's what they are, but in your mind you see a very clear picture of what a warg is, of what like this big wolf beast. Normally,
Okay.
they
Shouldn't
do not.
we just be alone?
No. Normally they howl from the entrance of the Estia. But this is new. Goblins have infested this cave for months now, and I've kept my eye on them. But something has happened. The wargs, they don't normally sound like this.
I'm not sure what I'm to do with a knife, but lead on.
She drops a rope and disappears down the hole.
Hey. I'm assuming the rope is tied to something.
It is, yeah. There's like a little anchor that you didn't necessarily notice, but she has been staking this thing out for months.
I guess I will follow.
In which case, we now head to this map, which I guess, are you in Roll20? You're not in Roll20. Can you see the Twitch stream? You'll see it in a second. You and she drop down into this little entrance of a cave, and what you see as your eyes kind of adjust to the darkness is what looks to be the body of a human laying unconscious or dead, and then down a little ways you hear very clearly the yelling, barking, screaming, the sound that is very distinct of like, well, especially because you've had your arm cut so many times, like violence is occurring here. And you can see goblins trying to attack something that's out of your sight.
Ooh.
And she draws her weapon, and you see sparks start to come off. Sparks, fire, like a little band of fire, freezing cold, like your breath in the air. Different elements start to come off of her bow.
I see I reach out to see if I can draw the lightning.
As you reach forward kind of past her, doesn't seem to be any connection to that.
Damn it. Well, here I am, armorless, standing here with a knife.
Yeah, you have a
In
dagger.
the dark.
Yeah. And that's where we're going to end because I can,
There's a bunch of goblins, and I'm gonna die.
yeah, probably all of those things are true. No, those things are not true. Um, we will pick up next week, and I've gotten you to the point now where we can all be in at least the same game. So
Oh shit.
that will be exciting. Awesome, super awesome game, Mike. Like, what a fantastic game, buddy! Thank you for being my first like one-on-one D&D player.
Oh man, you have taken this in a direction I was not anticipating.
I mean, look,
What's fun with this though?
I'm just going to point out that before you punish Izamina on Tuesdays, that Zev has been heavily invested. No, he did help me out a little bit today, but yeah, I am super excited to see how this goes. We have never really discussed alignment, but you and I probably should off stream. We should probably have a little discussion about alignment.
You're like, you're not so good anymore, are you?
And you definitely pulled some stuff from me that I wasn't anticipating telling you today. So that was awesome. I love, especially like I was writing down notes. You were like, oh, surely I'm a follower of Cord. You've been talking to me about that like in our Discord for days. And then you were like, maybe this evil person is inside of me. No, you're just a cleric of Tiamat. It's going to be fine, buddy. And by fine, I mean death and destruction. Wait until you meet General Archon. It's going to be great.
Oh,
We're not meeting General Archon in this campaign.
Little note.
Joe Manganiello, if you would like to come and guest on our stream, we would
Right.
love to have a General of Tiamat join us, please. And thank you. Can everybody just tweet that for me? Thanks. Mike, tell us who you are and all the amazing things that you do.
Hi, I was the now has a name, Thundersoul.
Sangane,
The Gatherer,
the Gatherer.
or Tiamat apparently, so it's okay. And Mike, he, him, Thundersoul, he, him. You can catch my pre and post COVID cosplay adventures at Canadian Captain America or CDN Captain America on Twitter. You can catch me here on Sundays, going completely crazy with a voice in my head. You can catch me on Saturdays, in the Vampire Takeover on this channel. And you can catch me on Tuesdays where I'm going to be focusing particular punishments against both Izamina and Marcos, because apparently he's in on us now too. So, no. Actually,
Sorry,
I'm not
Zed.
that kind of... Whatever you do, you brought it on all yourselves. That's all I'm saying. Great. It's great though when players give you enough of a backstory and enough of a character concept that you can work with it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, then adapt it to your campaign to the point where other things can blossom from it, and you can connect other character backstories to each other. And it's sort of, so if you're a player and you're watching it, please, by all means, work with your DM if you can. Come up with a cool backstory that sounds really neat to you, because chances are the DM's already got like 5 plans for it.
And also, totally, communication is really important. Mike and I have been working on like, well, what's really interesting is that I play a cleric for him and now he plays a cleric for me. We didn't plan that. But like the communication for both of our characters in both of our campaigns has been really critical. And then also you just have to trust the DM, because if they are good, and if you are at the right table, they are not going to screw you. You are going to create something together. But just like in real life, you don't always understand all the things that unfold around you when you're young. And so let the DM have a little bit. And Mike has certainly let me take his story, because he's played a version of this character before. This is a very different, this is the alligator Loki of this character. Like, this is a very different version. So I'm excited. And thank you, Mike, for doing that. Steve, I don't know who we're raiding into, so I'm going to need you to tell Mike in Twitch chat. But I'm shouting that out like 30 seconds before so that you can tell us. I am Sarah. I have been your DM. And thank you for coming along with me these last few weeks. We've got so many more stories to tell. And I will be glad to have, we've got my eye candy today, but my gyms will be back next week with our other friends rejoining us. And I'm super excited to see where that goes. So thank you all for joining us. Hit the Patreon so that Storyteller Steve can get a new computer to better do tech with. Because I really miss being in Twitch chat with you guys. And Vampire Takeover. Also, there's a Changeling game that is starting that I should probably like have a note of when that's starting. But I think it plays right after us next week? Today? Next week?
Yes.
Sure. And you should totally watch the Changeling game because it's epic. And has Steve told us who we're rating into?
It's
Are
on
we rating
Wednesdays.
into the Changeling game?
Sorry,
who?
we are going to Dimples and Dice.
Dimples and Dice. Oh yeah, that's who we normally rate into. Everybody stay on and go over to Dimples and Dice with us. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week. Bye.
You guys in the